Morning, people. A lot warmer today. See, summer's coming. Sun is looking beautiful in the background. Looking forward to a good summer. Hope we get some rain. Guys, want to take you through. We finished that part of yesterday of loving the Lord your God with all your heart. And it took us a little bit of time to do that. But I'd like to move on to the next one, which is loving the Lord with all of your soul. Love the Lord with all of your soul. The soul is the seat of your convictions. As much as the heart is the seat of your character, your soul is the place where your deepest convictions live themselves out. Now, we live out of our convictions. So many people, we think we live out of our beliefs. Belief is an academic assent to some religious or otherwise facts. But our convictions of what is the way we live when we declare what we say we believe. Now, there are three types of convictions. Let me give them to you very quickly. The first conviction is that of a public conviction. This is the thing that I tell people, hoping that they think that I believe that I live like that. It's a public conviction. It's kind of like the Pharisees when they were around in Jesus' time, and they would declare certain things about I have tithed and I have fasted, and it was they were declaring what their belief was, but their conviction was corruption of their belief, and they were doing it to impress people. That's public conviction. Jesus called these people whitewashed sepulchres. He says you look good on the outside, but inside you're just a bunch of rotting bones. Public conviction is fickle. The second one is personal conviction, and these are the convictions that I say I have, that I hope that I'm going to live out. The only problem is I only get tested at the time of the test to see if what I said is actually going to happen. But I would love to believe that I can do those things. It would be lovely if I could live out what I say I believe, but I only know I do it when I get to the point of the test. If you have a look at this, the example of this would be Peter, where Peter said to Jesus, I'll never leave you. I'll stand by you through thick and thin. I'll be there to defend you. And yet when push came to shove and Jesus is standing at Caiaphas' house and Peter's down there, and Peter denied him 3 times. And Peter's saying, I didn't want to do that. My personal conviction was I love him. I want to be. But he failed at the point of the test because his personal conviction was still not deep enough. And then the third one is where we have private convictions. These are the convictions that we really live out from our heart. These are those private convictions where I say, I know that I know that I know. This is the conviction that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had when they stood before the king, and the king said, don't you know I could throw you in the fire for disobeying me? And they somewhat nonchalantly, but I'm sure they were nervous, said, King, we don't really care. Our personal conviction is that we so believe and we will lay our life on the line that God is able to deliver us from the fire. But King, even if he doesn't, our personal conviction is so deep that we don't care. You can throw us in the fire. I find that amazing, don't you? The depth of personal conviction. And that's what Jesus is saying. That when your soul loves God with the depth of that private conviction that says, I know that I know that I know, no matter what happens, I will live this conviction out. It also is only tested at the time of the test. And so we have a look at this and we say, well, if that's where God wants us to go, man, there's a whole bunch of areas in my life that I'm not even close. I'm not even close. I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I will say one thing and live out another. I'm aware that some of the sermons I have to preach, I'm setting myself up for failure here because I know sometimes, man, I'm not sure I can pull that off. And guilt can very often become a part of who you are. God looks at that and he looks at your heart and he says, I know what your heart is saying. I know your heart really wants more of me. I know you want to grow into your convictions. I know that once you sit in public, you want to believe in personal conviction and that it wants to become private. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll meet you, God says, at the point of where you are. You see, if God didn't do that, we're dead in the water. We're never going to pull it off. But when God says, I'll meet you at the point of your personal conviction. Isn't this what Jesus did so beautifully with Peter? After the crucifixion, and Jesus had risen from the dead, and he met them for breakfast on the beach. And Jesus said to Peter, "So Peter, do you love me? And do you agape me?" Which is the deepest form of love. And Peter said, "Lord, you know I love you, but I don't agape love you. I philo love you. That means I love you like a friend. I can't at this moment, God. You know who I am. You know how I felt. I wish I could say I agape loved you unconditionally. But Jesus, I can't do that right now. I'm on this journey." And Jesus said, "I'll meet you there." He didn't demand, give no guilt on him. He said, "I'm going to meet you at the point of what you acknowledge the depth of your conviction is for me, and I'll walk with you to a deeper conviction." And that's incredible that God would be willing to do that and meet us at the point of our inadequacy and say, "I'm going to walk with you to create a greater sense of conviction, where your belief is not just an academic assent, but it's a true, lived out, deeper conviction." I hope that you understand today how much God is committed to you. I hope you understand how much He loves you, that He'll meet you at the point where you are. He doesn't want you to stay there, but He'll certainly meet you there. Have a great day, people.